a working, hey, from the milk house hum to the auction call. These are the folks standing strong and tall. Yeah, this is the bovine coming on the air, sharing the stories of the folks who care. Profiles of passion, voices of the trade, dairy strong legends being made. Yeah, this is the bovine coming on the air, sharing the stories of the folks who care. Profiles of passion, voices of the trade.
This is the bovine. In April 1997, Bruno Jubinville couldn't order coffee in English, but he could read a cow. He proved it from behind a Purina feed truck. 2 scores, both perfect matches. Within a week, Holstein Canada was on the phone. 29 years later, Bruno had classified 8 of the 11 cows in Canadian history to reach 97 points. Holsteins, a Jersey, a Brown Swiss, an Ayrshire. He championed locomotion before it was fashionable. He took the Canadian classification system to Colombia, Brazil, and a dozen other countries, and he built his entire career around one word: balance. Now, after nearly 3 decades inside the system, he's moved to Blondin Sires, not to sell semen, to educate breeders. This is his story, the classifier behind 8 EX97s, Bruno Jubinville's lifetime crusade for balance.
Now, let's start at the beginning. And I don't mean like Holstein Canada or classification. I mean way back. Where did you grow up, and how did all the dairy industry begin for you?
I come from Quanticook. It's a little city, I would like to say 20 minutes from Vermont. It's a really agriculture area, but when I was young, at 12, 13, 14, during the summer, I worked on the farm, but that farm was not a purebred. Just helpful to do hay during the summer. And after that, around, I would like to say, after my school, I went to Manchester, United States. I work on the concrete. I make a base for the house and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I work there, and I want to be married, and my girlfriend doesn't want to come in where I work. Then I start to work at Shacook Holstein. They are master breeder Hampshire and Holstein, and I learned everything there. I worked there for I think 8 or 9 years. Andre Tardif he was a classifier. He worked there before me. Yeah. I worked there for 9 years, and after that I learned a lot with them. They were really good cowmen, and they buy lots of cows from US, would sell it, and I learned a lot there. And after that, they sell the farm, and I start to work at Purina. I deliver a bag, the feed bag for heifers and stuff. And one day, Gilbert Valois did I don't want to say workshop, but a classification demo. And they were sitting at the barn because it was done when I arrived to deliver the feed bag. And one guy said, "Hey Bruno, how many points you would like to score those cows?" And I say for the joke, I said, if Gilbert did good, he scored 87, 86, and it was right on the money like him. And the week after, it was Saint-Hyacinthe Holstein, the big, what's the name? The big Holstein. They do it in BC this summer. It was the
conference.
Big Holstein. It was anyway the big Holstein. Holstein. I don't remember the name anyway. And Jay Shannon was there, and I see him there with Gilbert, and they are ring me right there. But yes or no, because they asked me if I want to have the job. I said yes, I'm really interested. And then I drove with Chantal Charette, because they need one classifier from Quebec, and we drove there. But myself, I didn't speak any English, zero. Right. And Chantal was a perfect bilingual. And I think with that time when they are in a classifier, they have a board board guys there, and plus Jay and Brian Coughlin and Tom, and we have 6 cows, and we need to score them. And every time Chantal translate for me, and at the end she said, "I'll translate for you, and they will give to you the job, the job." I said, "I don't know," and they said I will give you a news, and during the night they are ringing Chantal and I on the same time. Yeah. And this is where I start to classify. Yeah.
And then you've had a long career at Holstein.
Yes.
Quite a long time.
29,
yeah. Is there somebody who kind of mentored you or helped you along the way or helped grow as you went through there then? Like, who were you training with?
One name, it's bad because the kid is Tom Barrios. Andre Tardif and Tom Barrios. Andre Tardif showed to me to be professional always when I'm doing my job. And after that, Tom showed me how the business, and he showed me the passion. He translated to me his passion. Because when I do some workshop for the World Harmonization Classification, and the first time I did it, they said Tom number 2. Yeah, Tom, he translate to me a lot. The passion and how to understand cows, and it was really special for me, Tom. Yeah.
And relate with people. I always loved how much Tom.
Yeah, and he's still, I think I don't know how old he is now, but he still have a passion,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, always. Yeah.
Lots of. Tom, especially, I think his cattle knowledge has grown, but his passion has always been there from the get-go. And he's a very fun-loving guy to be around, for sure. I can remember when.
And for sure, when you work with them, you need to want to learn. And I'm always want to learn. And I still learn about cows. I think every day I still learn about cows. Yeah.
And what do you think are the biggest things you have learned, maybe from the get-go till now? Because things have obviously changed quite a bit. But what is your kind of biggest lessons that way?
But I don't want to say I have a biggest lesson, but what I learned, it's it's a good question. I read your question, but I'm always answer with my heart. What I learned the most is breeder need functional cows. Yeah. They need balanced cows, and I learned, and the breeds go pretty fast. Yeah, I mean change a lot. Cows they better. I remember the first senior yearling and milk in Toronto. Laurent Lambert finished first with his heifers, and I scored 83. And now it's incredible. They have I don't know many class of 2 years old they have at the Royal, but it's incredible how they calf young and everything. I don't know if I answer your question, but
no. One of the neat things, and Dad always listens to it, is how much he learned from the breeders as well. Like not just advisory groups, but even just certain breeders over the years that he learned a lot from, just because you get exposed to a lot of breeders and a lot of opinions. Are there any breeders that you've kind of learned a lot from over the years, or that?
Every kind. I would like to say every kind of breeders. I don't know, like the show guys or another one. I think at the end, I really like what the breeder they do good. I think they have a good management. I really realize management is the most important on cows management, and I think it's still the problem a little bit management. Yeah, the breeder need to still working on management. Yeah. And I learned about the guys in Alberta. I learned a lot there about feed and legs. Like they have a better management on feed and legs than the province like Quebec, or they have a tie stall. It's I don't know. Yeah.
So did you end up classifying a lot all over? Like I know they've been trying to make it more centralized, but you would have traveled a lot across Canada then. Oh, but then as you moved up, you had to travel either way. So yeah.
I travel all across Canada. Yeah. Always. Yeah.
Now
I'm the first to ask to have a English course. Yeah.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Oh yeah, because I scored cows for 2 or 3 years. I were in the province and I didn't speak any English. Zero. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
And we just gave the final score and it was done. And yeah. And one day I say to Jay Shannon, I would like to have an English course because I want to understand the people speak English. I want to work with them better and understand what they do and stuff. And I took my English course, and after that, this is why I speak English now. Yeah, yeah,
Cool. So in it, like when you classify, I don't think a lot of people understand. Like that's the one thing I think, obviously, because of Dad, we got exposed to what a life of a classifier was like. But what would a typical day look like when you were on the road or classifying?
it's a good question. It's like you leave Monday morning early, but you always need to do your phone calls for the week after. That means normally the classifier do the phone call Monday night or during the lunch or Tuesday night for the week after. And after that, they leave from home the Monday around, I would like to say 8. And if they need to drive 5 hours, they will start at 1:30. If they have 2 hours, they will start at 10. Yeah. And after that, yeah, they will do that, classify all days and on different area and different province. It's very different too. Like when you're going to Alberta, like it's during the winter, it's really dark. And when I'm start, we don't have any address. We have just direction and to find our farm. It was really difficult. Yeah. Because it was dark and you're driving for 5-6 miles. And if you don't see any light, you're lost. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is our province different. Like in BC, you score more cows per day. In Quebec or Ontario, you score more herds, less cows a little bit. But yeah, you classify all day, you try to give a good service, and you finish at night. It depends. But normally we try to finish by 5. And yeah, and after that, like the day we do a phone call at night, dinner, and the day after we start for 5 days. We try to classify around 40 and 4 herds per day and around 60 cows a day. Yeah. And sometimes we try, it's all classifier, it's really, really important to give a good service to the breeder. Some, they start at 4 a.m. because the breeder want the udder full of milk of udder and sometime at 7, sometime finish later. And we always try to give a good service to the farm. And those teams be really, really passionate about what they're doing. And you need to because you're always yourself on the road. And sometimes you have problem with one breeder, he's not happy, and you come back at the hotel and you're just yourself and you need to take it. And the herd is really happy. It's like, yeah, it's like this, a judgment of people a little bit, and the classifiers like this. And, yeah.
And it's not the easiest because I think with that passion, and obviously the breeders who are classifying have a lot of passion.
Yes.
They have goals and they hope, sometimes, and sometimes maybe the cow isn't there yet and you have to handle that. Have you ever had those situations, or how did you handle those situations when maybe you had to do a little tougher than maybe they were hoping?
Oh, for sure. But the problem is that the breeder, they don't understand. Classifier, they don't create they don't decide the classification program. It's the breeder decides. The board of classification decided, and we need just to go by rules. And I think somewhere it's a Holstein fault a little bit because we don't explain enough classification. This is the problem. I do some demo of classification and I always surprised how people, they don't know. They don't know what that means, shorter udder, what that means, this part. They don't know, like feet inside. And, when you milk 500 cows, but what you milk 40 cows doesn't bother you, It's like, yeah.
It's one thing I would say how the classification, in my opinion, has evolved over the years is I would say it's almost as much education as it is judging them.
Yeah.
I would have said when Dad first was running it or was doing it back then, it was very much more just how did you evaluate the animals.
Yeah.
And I think you could probably attest more than anyone that it's evolved to you're spending more time almost educating for most breeders than you are evaluating.
Yeah, this is the problem. Yeah, we need to educate more people to classification because I'm always saying it after 100 years of classification and breeder, they don't know enough about why we classify and why we build this kind of program. Like it's built for two things, longevity and productivity. and it's the goal. Yeah.
I used to always kid because, especially over the years between Dad and Dalton and Tom and people like that, when they would come in to classify, they could look at the cow and and you probably would understand when they say this, we could probably within a point tell you what that cow is going to score before you even start classifying it. But then it's helping the breeder understand how to get there. And I always loved to argue with Tom because I knew the system enough because we used to have the little handhelds at home all the time. So I even learned where you tick this, tick this, tick this. You might be able to change certain things.
Yeah.
And Tom would spend more time educating me on less studying of how the system works, Andrew, and more studying of what the functional cow is and what our goal is. So Tom, he knew that if I'd asked for certain ticks, he knew where I was trying to head when I was trying to get higher classification. But he said, even with all the ticks in the world, you're not changing the animal much. And he says you're almost hurting yourself because the goal is to breed make that cow last, but also breed from her as best you can. And so our job is to evaluate her as accurately as we can.
It's true.
Tom was a great ambassador that way of explaining, not
it's
just
true.
that way.
Yeah, this is the problem with education more than, because at the end, I don't think score final is really important. You know, it's linear code. Every country, when they look at our genetic, they work with our linear code, not with the final score. Yeah.
Yeah, I think only the U.S. still uses final score a bit, and even that's not heavily anymore. The linears. But even at that, it's still the understanding. But educating breeders and relationships with the breeders is key. But it's also exciting. You've had the opportunity to to classify some very exciting cows. Are there any that have stand out in your memory?
Oh yeah. For sure. I did we have 1197 points in Canada, and I've participated of classification of 8 of them. And I'm really happy. And I participate too with the fantasy, the Grand Swiss.
Yep.
And after that, Joy, the Vieux Village Gentleman Joy. I scored 97 with Daniel and Jean-Luc, and Gorgeous. The jerseys. Yeah. It's one And be honest, it's the first I score. I think it's Rose. Yeah. Sterling James Rose. We scored 98 on the same time at Kendra.
Yeah. I was going to say there was 2 that day, was there not? From my memory?
Yes. Yep. I think it was Friday morning at Pierre Boulay at 7 a.m. And those 2 cows, they leave the same weekend to Madison. And I remember Daniel and I, we were really nervous because we put we put the pressure because we scored 97 and that time Frosty scored 97 too in US. And they did the big, they talk about who's one deserve. And I remember Rose was sick on the bed and people say, rah, rah, rah. And, at the show, boom. I think Rose, she was really ahead of the breed that time. I think she changed the show. She changed the show, smaller cows a little bit. And 2026, it was a 2008, and it's the kind of udder she got. We have it today now. You know, her udder was incredible, and the restraint was wow. Yeah. She doesn't have a perfect legs, but she was incredible. I think Kendra, but not Kendra, but Rose, she was pretty good. And Kendra, she was a really good cow. I think a little bit more balanced than Rose. But not extreme on memory and the restraint to compare Rose. Yeah. And after that, go ahead.
I think Rose started to bring the show guys back in line of maybe the commercial and classification side, that
Yes.
she had to remind you that it wasn't about extremes and statures and frames and openness, that you needed to have that udder and everything to go with it.
Because before it was Le Duc, you remember Le Duc, he was so big and tall and long, and Rose arrived and poop. At Frosty, she was really, really big. But Rose, I remember her, she was incredible. And after that, I think one of my favorite, I score for sure Gorgeous. She's the best jersey I never see. The other was so wide and she was like a tank. She was incredible. and Haley for her feet and legs and for quality of the texture. And Haley, when she arrived at the ring, nobody talking because she was so stylish and she walked like a princess and she was incredible. Yeah. Haley. And after that, I would like to say another cow, I think Shakira. I think Shakira, she was the most complete. I would like to say on her legs, her rump, mammary, and dairy strength. I would like to see to a little bit dairy, a little bit more, but she's the most complete 97 I score with the guys. And we need to understand we have 97 points, but they're not perfect. All have a little defect. Yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
But But I think those cows, it was really, really special. And the jersey, like Vieux Village Gentleman Joy, she's really special for our share too. She's really good. Yeah. I score 88 first lactation and I score 97 after with Daniel and Jean-Luc. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I realize after so many years when I look at those cows, I realize how lucky I am to see all those cows and score them. And yeah.
No, it's neat, especially because a lot in the Quebec and everything too. But it's neat when you look back at them, and not just because they were great show cows, but they were also just like, especially the ones you highlight there, they were great cows day in, day out.
Oh yeah.
I can remember.
People say I think you have a question about show. People say, oh, she's a show cow, she needs to be in the stall. Or it's not true. Those show cows, they produce lots of milk. and normally the breeder, they separate them because the values build it. The more value on those cows and they need to keep a good body condition and they need to protect them for accident normally. But for sure, the extreme, we don't need extreme, but I think they really balance cows, especially in 2026. It's not like before. When you see a ring like at the Royal, the 2 years old, 3 years old, it's incredible. Everybody would like those kind of cows in the barn, Yeah.
And I would say the consistency of cattle nowadays.
It's incredible.
It's insane how consistent cows are. Like that's just you can walk into any type of herd these days and the level of consistency or functionality of the herds is drastically different, at least in my time and what I've seen, and you've probably seen it more than I have, the consistency across all type of herds.
And now, mammary system, it's incredible. We have little things like teeth placement sometime and teeth length, but the attachment of the udder now, it's incredible. When I start to classify, like we score, sometimes we finish like 72 average, 73, and now we don't see that anymore. It's difficult to find a heifer at 75, 76.
Yep.
They all 80 over, and this is the goal, and we're on the good way. I'm really, really happy about that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, because I can remember in my early days, and for some people, because of the way the system was, they were looking for the extremes. Now you wanted extreme low, you wanted extreme high, and now I think on most classifier visits, 5-6 points amongst 2-year-olds is about as far as you're going to get apart in most herds, which is insane.
Yeah. I think now we need to talk about balance than everything else. Balance means balance. Like I give you a story. Like I was on the plane. I come from BC that time. I was with the Alouette players, the football, American. And his name was Chu, something like that. He gave the ball to the quarterback, and he was sitting beside me, and he's 6'2", 6'3", and 200 pounds, and he was sitting like this on the seat, and I say, oh, this guy is really too big and not comfortable, but when he started to walk at the airport, he was really functional. That means he was strong and wide. That means the problem was he's not too big. The problem is the seat was too small. That means every cow don't fit everywhere. It depends what kind of barn you got, what kind. The breeder need to look at that a lot. What kind of barn I have and what I really need. It's not every bulls fit everywhere or cows fit everywhere. It depends what kind of installation you got. Yeah.
No, very much so, especially in Canadian operations, because it's not like we have a lot of big open free stalls. A lot of them are tie stalls, or at least have been tie stalls traditionally.
It's true. And we still learn a lot, and especially in Quebec with free stall. But the transition is going pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any fun barn stories that over the years that just stick with you that you remember more than anything?
Yes, one of my first excellent I scorer in Saskatchewan, and I were 2 or 3 hours from Saskatoon. And that time, every excellent we need to do a revisit.
Yeah.
And we charge a visit, the second one when we score the excellent. And I was at the farm and I see these cows I need to score excellent. We need to do a revisit. Then I say I put on revisit. I went outside, I smoked a couple of cigarettes, and I'm come back in and I score excellent. Yeah. And, we charged a revisit. The breeder was really, really happy. Yeah, it was, yeah, I remember. And, yeah.
When you're working with breeders, what is the key message you're always trying to get to them, like help them understand? Because I know we talked about how much it's education, but what did you think the key role of the classifier was in sharing with the breeders over the years?
The first thing, it's respect. I think we need to really respect them because those breeders work really, really hard, and they work harder than I can. That means respect need to be really important, but we need to say to them, like, management. It's not easy to say to them, you need to do that, you need to do that. And somewhere it's not our role, but I think it's really, really important to the classifier to explain what we're doing and talk to them about management a little bit. And we need to be really, really, soft, or we need to watch what we say, but I think it's really, really important because too many sellers everywhere and everybody say everything. But I think people need to help breeder because they're busy to outside, they're busy to everything. And the breeding, it's really, really important for them. Really important because it's the future revenue, And people don't take enough time to do it. And I think it's really important to the classifier to help them to realize that, like, how many guys say, okay, the guys breed cows, I don't know what's it, and put everything you want. It's the breeder need to know that. And I really realize when I score, breeder need help on that way a lot. Yeah. Yeah, because they buy something they don't need and stuff like that, and they're going anywhere with that. Yeah. And I think it's our role to translate to them the passion of cows a little bit. Just say to them, cows, it's important. It's important, because a lot of them, they don't really care somewhere. They don't make enough attention of their herds. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, it's neat. And I think, as I said, I think it started, like, in my memory, I'd say it was Tom was one of the first great ambassadors about teaching. And I think Tom had a big impact on your style or how you approach, because I see the same, a lot of what he did in the sense of education and teaching is kind of, and relating with the breeders, I would say, is almost the key strengths that you guys have. And I think it's the things you've tried to pass on to other classifiers as well.
Yeah, it's really important, and my role was to help to classifier, to educate them to do a better service, because I think in 2026, when you say 83, she needs better legs, or 81, memory system, it's not enough. the classifier, those things need to give a better service that way. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of the time people think about it like, hey, you're not always going into, say, Ferm Jacobs, where if you say, hey, her feet just aren't quite there enough, and they would kind of say, they would know yes or no or agree with you or slightly, they would know that as much as you or as much as most any of us would ahead of time. But that is a small niche portion of the number of cows that you actually classify in a day.
Yeah.
And so
we need to make more attention of the 95% of breeder. They not go follow the breed like the other. Yeah.
yeah. If you were talking to someone or when you're first training a young classifier, what advice do you give them?
My first advice is have passion about cows. And after that, take a time to analyze. Don't hate them. Don't be exciting for them. Take a time to analyze them by part and understand the cows. Understand that. I think it's the most important. When you understand your cows, make everything easier. That means understand like why she's done like this, why she's like this, because when she's not balanced, you have an impact somewhere. And I'm always say that take a time, analyze them, and it's this, yeah, and love what you're doing, yeah.
I was gonna say, because it's like I don't know how often you were able to make it home at night, but it can be a grind at times. So you have to have that passion if you're going to stick with the grind. I don't think it's as much maybe nowadays. They've tried to make it better, but it's still a grind, I would believe.
Oh, for sure, and you know. To have the passion, it's not everyone. You know, some it's natural, some it's not. Me, I'm lucky. I would like to say I'm like Tom a little bit. I have it, and because I really like to learn. I'm always want to learn, and I still learn what I said when I start to talk to you, and I love to learn, and this is why I did the move now because I want to still help breeder and then learn about another stuff, and I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a neat, and I have it, and I was seeing it when I was doing this, there's a fun picture of you, I think it's at Mapleburn Farms, where the kids are drawing cows while you're doing your classification visit. And I think that says so much and right there because it's kind of helping the next generation the passion in the next generation. I just love that picture. I think you posted it or Holstein did, someone did, but
yeah, it's so important. Like, future of them. We need to, because I would like to say the new generation, they're thinking differently, you know, and them, they're thinking about for sure business and stuff, but they know if you explain to them when they're young and they will know in the future when they will be on the farm, how it's important to have a balanced cows in the herds because when I said longevity, it's the clue of the future. This is what we need, longevity, and especially Holstein, and it's really important because, like, I think it's 2.5 average of lactation in Canada or 2.7, and the cows need to produce 3 lactation to make more money. And we're still working hard on that.
It's neat, and I think I look at your career, and I know from your predecessors that it's not just here in Canada. I know you've done a lot of work in other countries too. And what has been your experience that way when kind of trying to both be an ambassador for Canada about our classification system, but also understanding other countries? How has that gone for you, and how would you compare what it's like here to other countries?
I think we have a really good system. I think because our system, it's a calculation for polarization for each part, and we have several part of measurement. I think it's really, really important. And for the goal of our system, it's longevity and productivity. And I think the other country really like our system, but we need to understand every country need a different take on the breed, you know, like in Australia, the cows the outside and another place. It depends which country you are, but me, when I learned the most, and I think I would like to say it's my baby, locomotion. I'm always push to have locomotion for a long time. And it was my goal before I leave to have locomotion because I think it's really, really important. And our biggest challenge was in Canada. We still have a lot of tie stalls.
Yeah.
It was our biggest challenge. Yeah.
Yeah, I always find it interesting, and the one that comes to my mind because I was recently there is when I was in the Azores, and they like to use a lot of our high type bulls, which is great, and they
Yeah.
like that. But those cows have to walk for anywhere from an hour to 2 hours a day from out in the hills down to the parlor and back up. And our cows that, especially if you have ones that are slightly stiffer or straighter in the hocks,
Yeah.
don't typically last well on that. They can last fine on the cement in North America,
Yeah.
but you take them to hilly countries or even New Zealand or anywhere where they have to walk significantly, but especially on hilly countries, locomotion is a whole different definition maybe than even what we would call locomotion, but it's a key part in their longevity for sure, especially internationally.
For sure. And our system, the three more important on feet and legs, it's hill, side view, and rear legs review for locomotion. And I think we're pretty good now. Yeah. I'm really happy. Yeah. Yeah.
I would think there's a lot more consistency on how we evaluate it now too. I think that would be where one of the biggest changes are.
We need to work on that for sure. And I did a video with Jill Nelson. We did a video on locomotion, and we sent it to the classifier, and they can look at. Yeah, we code them 1 to 9, and I learned a lot on the other country about locomotion, because then locomotion, they on their life always, they be on their classification program always. Like I think in England, the ponderation of locomotion is really, really high. And they have number behind, money. You know, when you have a good locomotion, your cows make more money. Yep.
Yep. Yep. And it is, as you said, especially, it's not even just different environments. Like cows live in all different areas, and that's probably the one where it's the biggest affected by management.
Yeah.
Would be the locomotion part. Especially you have the one extreme in Quebec where some cows are in the stall most of the time, especially maybe a little bit out in the summer, but the rest of the time of the year in a tie stall most of the time. And then you have other countries where they live outside 99% of the time, and they're just brought in for some concentrated milking. And that's where I think locomotion is even more important. Or not more important, but more focused on.
And it's really hard for them here. Now, when I start to classify, we classify our first lactation at 32, 33 months, and they milk 20 kilo a day, and they were outside all summer.
Yep.
And now they calf at, I think, 24 months average now in Canada, but some at 22 and 40, 45 kilo. And it's really hard for them. and it's really important they have a good locomotion, because when you have a heifer who's like, she produces 45 kilo, the energy she needs, it's not like she run a marathon every day. That means she need to have something behind her to can produce and still in the barn. That means this is why we need balanced cows, balanced heifer.
I still remember one time we were classifying, and I had a cow that maybe wasn't the best walking, and Tom knew that. And he said, I want to get her out. She was 84 as a 2-year-old, and I wanted her 85. And Tom said, okay, you get her out and walk her. And if she walks well, I'll make her 85, or we can get her there. But because he was adamant her legs weren't good enough. And if not, we'll leave her at 84 today, Andrew. And Dad and Lenny just giggling in the background because they knew full well that there was no way I was going to be able to get her to walk well enough. So Tom won. Tom did win. She stayed at 84. We never got her to 85. Yeah. I was trying to argue her legs were better than they were, and Tom's experience knew that.
Oh, yeah.
I see what you're trying.
When the legs are a little bit straight, you don't have any flexibility.
No. Yeah. And I argued, I said to him that she lives all day in her stall, and he said, well, it looks like she's been washed and been this and this and this and this in the last few days. So she's been out of the stall at least a little bit, Andrew. And I'm like, and that's when it started going downhill right there. And Dad never, especially when Tom was classifying, Dad never really got involved. He just left it to whoever, like I would present or Lenny would present, just because, the history that are just but he was sitting back giggling like a turkey the whole time and not helping me there. So I lost a lot of battles against Tom, but that one I lost as well. which was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But you've seen a lot of change, because I think about it now and you say about it, like we've had genomics that come in, but in Quebec, we've gone to robots. Like you have the extremes that you probably see in most of the herds. What have been the biggest changes, or how has it changed what you had to do over the years because of
For sure, what I said, memory system has changed a lot, but I think genomic was the best tool we never had. I remember when we start with genomic, like Classifier was scared. He said, genomic will take our job and stuff like that. And they were scared because I remember that time people said, we don't need classification anymore. We have genomic, but genomic for sure, it's the best tools, but it's a one tools of a box of tools. That means if genomic is so important in 2026, we need to have classification to prove the numbers of genomic, and this is why it's so important. Yeah. We need to still classify to have a better number of genomic, like reliability of numbers. We need classification. Yeah. This is why it's really important. Yeah.
No, and I look at it now because there are some tendencies now where there's certain operations or genetic operations that have 5, 6, 7 generations with no classification or milk recording.
Yeah.
And without that validation, we run into so many problems long run. And that's as an industry, and then at the herd level, the validation. You still need the validation, even if they're better about predicting it. We still need the validation, and the system needs the information to adjust. And that's
we always need to learn about the past. And we know when genomic arrived, they totally forgot family. They totally forgot all of them, all of this. And they need to come back because they really realize family and cows, because we always talk about bulls, but we need to talk about female. It's like, it's both. And we need to have both to increase the breed.
Yep.
And now I think with the little mistake on the past, they realize we need to have a good family, not just numbers, but we need both. It's really important. Yeah.
And it's evolving. I think that's the one thing I think about it now. I was sitting there the other day and I saw a 2-type model from the 70s. Dad has them all. I was looking at, and you look at the evolution of the cow, and I think that's the biggest thing I think we need to continue is to keep evolving. The cows are changing, and so are the environments they live in. So the cows are going to change.
Yeah.
That is going to be the thing that we keep needing to adjust, and the systems need to change to go with it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I think as a Canadian I take a lot of pride in is how much our system has evolved to match how the production systems have changed.
Yeah, but it's funny because like we talk about Canadian kind, but when I'm going to another country, in my head, they say, this is a Canadian kind, and this is the cows they love. That means you can talk about American cows or Canadian. I think every herd in the world need the same cows. Balance. And this is where we are because the breeding, it's all around the world now, and this
is very much
global. Yeah. But when I see a cows like balance, I'm always saying this is a Canadian cow. I don't know why, but it's like, last time I was in Brazil or Colombia, I was there like a few months ago, and I said, this is beautiful Canadian cows in my head because I don't want to say something to them, but it's like, it's balance. We talk about balance.
And you've had the opportunity to travel as an ambassador for Canadian and a Canadian classification. Have there been trips or times that you've enjoyed the most or been the most proud of or found the most beneficial?
Every time, be honest, I love everywhere I work. Like the 2 last training I did, it's so incredible how people like how Canadian cows, how they like what we're doing. And they listen a lot and they learn with us, and I learn too. But I think, it's those country. And I really like. I went to Australia. We love it.
Hmm.
It's beautiful. And be honest, everywhere I were, I was really exciting, really exciting. Yeah,
I think two
and
parts.
and I'm surprised how they have a good cow. I mean,
Yeah.
we think we're just us in the world, but the word there, I say, wow, wow, and wow, like, yeah,
There's a neat part when you think about what our cattle population size is to the world, and yet how much our genetics and our systems are actually used proportionally. I think it speaks volumes for Canada in
yeah,
the sense of like our genetics, like we're very small percentage, but we're a large percentage in the genetics sold. And same with our classification system. The number
yeah,
of countries that are based off of it or work with ours is quite impressive. I'm always
yeah,
shocked there. I always get a chuckle because I benefit from because Dad was, when I first went into Italy or first went into a lot of South American countries, Dad was the one doing that.
yeah,
And now when I go back to those countries, a lot of the people who are the senior people, like Corrado and different ones, were people Dad trained
yeah,
originally. So
yeah,
I was like, wow, that's neat. But I go to like when I was in Ecuador this year, they're so like excited like to the Canadian system, the Canadian kind,
yeah,
the Canadian genetics. They really, really appreciate that. And in their Holstein Association, they have a lot of our two-type models
yeah,
sitting there. And I just think, wow, as a ambassadors globally, Canada has done a great job over the
yeah, yeah,
years and continues to. And I
yeah,
think there's a lot of people should understand that from Canada, that just how much that is appreciated, and that we're willing to help and share with other countries, as you know.
yeah.
That's
And,
greatly appreciated.
and be honest, our breeder in Canada, they have so much passion than they can the judge when they're going there and the picture and everything, like he's so passionate, then this is passed to the other country. And my dream was before I leave, but never did it, but it was to help the other country to use our program. Australia use our classification program, but I'm always would like to the other country use it too. Yeah, but yeah, because I think everybody needs to have, I would like to say, not the chance, but everybody they can be available to use our Canadian genetic, especially with the classification system, because we have a really good system. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
but
Yeah. No,
some pay business and money, I don't know. Yeah,
yeah. So you've traveled a lot of miles. You've been in a lot of barns over the years,
yeah.
and seen a lot of cows. When you think about your career and think about what this career gave you, or what you've learned from it or appreciated from it, what comes to your mind?
Yeah. What I learned is to be humble and I would like to say about respect again, but how people, they love what they're doing. Like, when you're going to score, like, I would like to say another breed, and they love their breed. Everybody love what they're doing. And yeah, and this is what I learned the most, and how Canada is beautiful. Yeah, I never traveled all across Canada before. And yeah, and I don't know if I answer your question, but
Yeah. No, but as you transition now, and you've had a long time at Holstein, but
yeah,
recently news came out that you're not quite just riding off into the sunset. You're going to start a new
yeah,
endeavor. Do you mind sharing what your new endeavor is?
yeah. What do you mean? Sorry.
So you're not just retiring and going to go play golf all the time. You're
Yes,
going
no,
to actually stay active in the industry. What are you going to be doing?
I'm going to work for Blondin Sires. And why? I think it's another way for me to translate Canadian cows
Yeah.
because I think that for the time they're there, they improve a lot. They show the way they want to go. And what I want to do, it's still helping breeder and another way. I think, yeah, I can help with management a little bit everywhere. I don't want to say management because it's not my role, but I understand what breeder need because with my 29 years, and this is what I want to give to them. More, I would like say more, go follow more the breed, more the breeding they do and stuff like that, because it's an investment and it's really, really important. This is why I'm going there. And to be honest, I never want to stop to work because I love to work with cows. I love to see them. I feel them and I love it. Yeah. Yeah.
It's neat when I heard that. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was hard for me to take this decision to leave because I really love the team I work with. But I think I was ready for the challenge. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's neat when I heard that news. I thought of Joubert, and then when you mentioned Joubert about bringing you into here, because when Joubert transitioned from being a classifier to working on the genetics side, he told me that it's not really that much different. It's the relating with the breeders, it's helping the breeders, it's all the same. Maybe the role is a little different, but the skills and the things he had to use in one made him very good at the other. Now I think he has fully retired now. We did both see him, I think, in Quebec here just recently, but he is fully retired now. But Joubert had a lot of passion and did very well at it, and I think you'll be exceptional at it too. And I think it's a key part because I think about it with like Fitzsimmons and with the average breeder, just helping them understand how to use that information is such a key part. And that'll be great. So I'm sure you'll do great at that.
I still to learn a lot about bulls and stuff because so many numbers, but I think it's really important to help breeder and what they really need in the field, and this is what I want to do. And I really like Simon, because he take this decision the time they stopped to use family, and him he say, oh, I don't have this product anymore, and they started because they're supposed to sell just embryos. It was the goal when they start, and after that they say, oops, we don't have a bull we want, and I will do it. And and be honest, I said to Simon, I don't want to sell cements. I'm not a sailor, but this is why they said to me ambassador. But my role will be like educate people what is a good cow, like what is a balanced cow, because we talk about tip. I was on the farm I think long time ago, and the breeder say I don't like type, and I score cows 81, and say nothing, and 182, and I score 185. I say, maybe you don't like her. You say, oh yeah, she's my best, and blah, 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 and she produces lots of milk. I say, yeah, but this is type, Yeah, and I think it will be my role to educate people what is real type, not it's balanced somewhere. Yep.
And I think you'll be great at translating that for breeders.
I'll try. Yeah.
And then if you ever do, as you want to learn, I think you have a teammate there that I think if we looked at his lactanet usage, Dan Brady would probably be the one who has spent the most time looking up pedigrees in our industry, period. So I'm sure he'll help you learn more of that side of things. And then there's Brian and Simone as well. I'm just teasing that Dan spends a lot of time on that. So you'll have someone there you can lean on for sure to help you that way. So I think it'll be great. So cool. Well, I think that actually covers all of my questions. It does. Covers all of my questions. Is there anything we didn't cover that you wanted to share? Let me see. No. Or did I get to everything? I think I got to everything.
Yeah.
Nope. I think we're good.
Can I say what I really like about cows? And
you can very much so.
So country doesn't use loin, but for me, it's one of the most important part of the cows, the loin. Structure of the loin. It's for me, it's really important. And everyone, if you have old cows in the barn, they have a good loin always. And I think it's really, really important. And structure of ribs, it's really important to produce milk.
And so with that, do you mean also like how they're connected to each other? Like I think everyone thinks a loin is loin, like the curvature. But I think when you define loin, I think you define it more of how it's all interconnected.
Yes, the loin, it's the vertebrae on the top, plus the short rib. We want this really strong, really wide, because we need a white cows to produce milk, to eat more. And loin keep the fertility system on the good angle on the cavity. Normally, first lactation, you don't see that, but when the cow's older, if they have a mad loin, it's more difficult for them to breed them because it changes a lot the angle of the cavity. I'm less scared of high pins than the loin. Yeah.
That's, I mean, some people associate it,
Yes.
the hook to pin thing, but I think the big thing I think people need to understand is that loin strength isn't the from hook to pins angle, it's actually the from side to side and how it's all connected into the ribs, I think is the key part.
We need to realize we need to check inside of the cows when you look at the cows, not just outside.
Yeah.
I mean, if she got a good loin, you can see inside still on the good angle of the cavity of the fertility system. And this is why it's, for me, so important. Yeah. Yeah, but I think the breed, I would like to say the genetic, it's higher than the breeder can use presently. Because the management, I don't know if you understand what I mean. Yeah. Because the genetic is pretty high now. I can't imagine on the future we have better cows than that. I can't. I think
it'll evolve, but yeah,
a little bit, but not like on the last 15 years for sure.
No. No, especially with genomics and the way everything's changed.
Yeah, with genomic, I started to classify, I think we did 0.5 average for very good first calf. Now it's 6%. It's pretty, it's incredible. It's genomic uniform, all the breed. Yeah.
I don't know if it was Brad or someone, because I remember with Dad, the goal was always to have certain percentages in each, like how many X are very good 2-year-olds, how many this or that. And I remember having, like Dad always said, quote, we only can have X number of very good 2-year-olds. And I think if you do it by today's standards, we're actually probably a lot higher than that. But the system and the cattle have evolved so much that it is changed that much that you can't just keep the old percentage of very good 2-year-olds like it used to be. We don't want X number of things. Now it's we want to just identify them accurately. It doesn't matter where they end, as long as we're identifying them as accurate as possible.
It's true, and the goal is to have a good process for the herds, and our biggest challenge, it's not our now, but the biggest challenge of classification of the future, it's score those young heifer at 24 months, 32 months, less than 60 days, score them a little bit better. I mean, because they change a lot. To compare like 60 days at 4 months and milk, it's a big difference. And Holstein need to work on that to improve a little bit the classification of those young cows. We did some change, like we did alteration of chest width and body depth for those younger, but I think we need to learn still about those young cows. Yeah.
I got into this debate with Dad last week, because I was writing an article on Prelude and what happened with Prelude. And Prelude is the reason we have first, because a certain classifier went into Eastern Ontario and rescored a lot of Preludes really high. Yeah. And his type proof went way up. Yeah. And we had some issues. So they brought in first. And that's a whole separate thing. We brought in first. But I was arguing that we almost, as you said just now, almost need to look back at this, even if it's not first, if it's first to second or some point, because so many of these cows are maturing so much because they're calving so young in first lactation that by the end of their first lactation or into their second lactation, she may have only looked like an 82.2-year-old, but she may be an 88.2 calver just because, like, that's an extreme. It's true. But because she's matured so much, yet the system, when we look at it from a genetic evaluation standpoint, has missed that cow. Yeah. Because we only look at first. Now, States does still look at it. So we are getting into the how do you service the one without hurting the other? And that's obviously a problem we should look at, but it is a situation that these cows, because they are calving so young, are maturing so much.
It's true, but when they build the system, they build it for 2-type cows.
Yep.
But we can have a 2-type at 22 months at 40 kilo. And the biggest challenge will be analyze better the restraint. It's the big difference. Yeah.
So it's fun.
The system need to learn about that still. Yeah.
That's what I mean. So it's evolving. I always say it's evolving. The
Oh
only
yeah,
thing I hope, if we ever stop evolving, then I will get worried. If as long
it's
as
true.
as an industry and as organizations,
Yeah,
if we keep evolving to adjust to how everything's changing, we'll be
yeah,
fine.
it's
But if we
true.
stop evolving and think that we've got it figured out, like even with genomics, if we think we've got it figured out because we have genomics,
Yeah,
then we're going to have problems. So,
it's true, and we'll never stop. And we learn, and we analyze, and it's a good thing. Like,
yeah,
and this is where we are now. It's after 100 years. Like,
yep,
beautiful cows and lots of milk, and it's perfect. Yeah,
yep. No,
yep.
it's coming. It's as long as we stay passionate and evolve. And I would say that's two things I think you've done very well. So,
No, I try. Yeah,
I appreciate that.
thank you.
That was the classifier behind 8 EX97s, the story of Bruno Jubinville, 29 years on the road, 8 97-point cows, a dozen countries, and one message that never changed: balance, longevity, respect the breeder, love the cow. If this story resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. A young classifier, a breeder chasing extremes, or anyone who thinks genomics replaced the need to actually look at cattle. Find the full article, photos, and more at thebullvine.com. This has been The Bullvine, where the dairy industry turns for honest, independent insight.